Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for showing up for worship. Thank you for holding the risk with me of opening to joy, our monthly theme. I would like for your assistance in invoking the Spirit this morning. So I'm going to invite you to open up your hymnals to our first hymn, 361. For those who don't know me, my name is Jenny Mulqueen, and I've been a member here for about 13 years and sung this hymn many times. And sometimes the first verse or so can feel a little, So I thought we'd warm ourselves up by just reading it first and inviting our spirits into the melody, into the rhythm. So I'm going to have you speak the chorus. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. I will sing or say the other verses. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts to the song. Open your ears, to the song. Today. Now, open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Oh, I'm starting to believe it. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in, Tucker. So please join me in body and spirit. Rise as you are willing and able to sing now. Really bring this joy in. Hymn number 361, all 5 joyful verses.
Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Milton. My name is Amy Cavaglo, and I am a member of the Worship Committee. We are so glad you have chosen to be here with us this morning or to join us virtually. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone. This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you are joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You will find information about First Parish in your pew. One of the greeters or I will be happy to answer any questions you might have, and we would welcome the opportunity to walk you to coffee hour after the service, which is still outside despite December temperatures. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship, so I call your attention to the printed announcements that came with your order of service. Please take a look. In particular, there are a couple of items to which I would like to draw your attention. One of them is the Christmas pageant, which I think people have heard of. There's going to be a 5 o'clock family pageant outdoors and a 10 o'clock indoor candlelight service. And also, we're again asking people to sign up on the Sign Up Genius. We need greeters and ushers, which will be the same person. And we still need social hour hosts, which we're saying every week, but I have to repeat it, because if we want to continue to have social hour for people who are here in person, we do need people to sign up. It's very easy. There are detailed instructions. And our goal is to keep it going outdoors for as long as temperatures permit. We're waiting to hear from the phased reopening committee as to guidelines and whether it's considered safe or advisable to bring social hour indoors. But until such time, it will still be outside. Now, let us take a few minutes to greet one another and extend a warm welcome to old friends and new. Of course, we need to be COVID safe, so stay in your seats. Greet your friends as enthusiastically as you would like, staying where you are. And for those on Zoom, please show your face, go to the gallery view so you can say hello to others who are Zooming in.
You're funny.
Now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can choose to connect with ourselves, when we can choose to connect with the divine, when we can choose to just be present. Each Sunday we light the chalice as a reminder that hope, love, and faith still abide. Now, please join me in saying our call to worship. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together. And now, in this season of Advent, we light candle 2 for love. We light this second Advent candle for the power of love. Love is what moves us to heal and to hope. Love is the courage to see the divine in each of us and in the beauty all around us. We light this candle in gratitude for love that unravels fear and love that upholds life. This light shines in the darkness and says, "Fear not, love still abides."
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. This nature's wisdom of blooming flowers. And just this morning, my bouquet that has shriveled over the last 2 weeks, actually, that I was able to save a few last flowers and make a tiny little bouquet. But I am saying goodbye to this bouquet, more or less, and I must confess my own story around joy and flowers, that I've always been kind of sad to receive flowers knowing that they weren't going to last very long. What does nature teach us about joy and about opening to joy, opening to the offering of flowers and their beauty? I invite you, as we move into this moment of stillness, to consider what it might mean for your rose to open, facing your own fears, your own anxieties about joy, as we enter into this month of reflecting on what it means to open to joy. was actually in the context of activism that I first heard about Hadestown. I was attending the first monthly gathering of the 11th Hour Calling, led and organized by our fabulous Tucker Smith, right out here in front of First Parish. We meet on the 11th of each month from 6 to 6:30 p.m. And we met I was especially intrigued by the invitation to bring noisemakers and make some joyful noise in this moment of standing out for the climate and for climate justice. There's always that feeling as you're gathering of risk, right? It's dark. Are enough people going to come? Are we going to be able to make a joyful enough noise to make an impact with our activism? Is this worth it? Well, it felt really worth it, and I'm looking forward to the next one, the next gathering this Saturday from 6 to 6:30. And I happened to run into, there's always these little gifts that happen, and I happened to run into my friend Deb Alcibi, who told me I had to see Hadestown. Like her whole face lit up, like Deb's face does. And I knew nothing really about the show, but the look on your face convinced me. There's so much to say, really, but I will try to stay focused here. I was enthralled with this show from start to finish. I even tried to see it when I went to New York recently again, but it was sold out. And what struck me most poignantly was the revisiting of an ancient, tragic myth. It turns out the author and composer of this show, Anna East Mitchell, is in her late 30s, and she started writing it in her mid-20s. And she went to Middlebury College. She's very, she lives in Vermont. She's of New England, kin. And in reading about her, she has 2 kids, she's a young mother. In reading about her journey over these past 13 years, I was struck by a sense of blessing and gratitude that here is this young woman wanting to revisit this tragic myth. This story that we've heard so many times. And so by the end of the show, I found myself in tears of sorrow and joy alike at the human achievement and talent, as well as the sagacious message that came at the end of the show. He says, it's a sad song, and we just need to keep singing it anyway. That we have to keep singing it, even when we know it won't end as we wish, which I found myself just really hoping that he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to look back. We have to keep singing.
Joyful noise today, all ye people. Break forth and sing for joy, and sing praises. Sing praises today with the harp and the sound of melody, with the trumpets and the sound of the horn. Make a joyful noise today, all ye people. who dwell in it. Let the rivers clap their hands, let the hills sing together for joy, and let all of the earth join in shouting, singing and dancing together with joy. Make a joyful noise today, all the earth. Break forth and sing for joy, and sing praises. Sing praises today with the harp and the sound of melody, with the trumpets and the sound of the horn. Make a joyful noise today, all ye people. Make a joyful noise today, all ye people. Sing hallelujah, break forth and sing for joy, and sing praises. Sing praises today with the harp and the sound of melody, with the trumpets and the sound of the horn. Make a joyful noise today. Lift your voice in jubilant praise. We'll sing with joy now and always and evermore.
Thank you, Dayon and Tim. So, a few months into the pandemic, I noticed that the J on my wall had fallen down. We made letters many Christmases ago from sticks and dried flowers. You may have seen those. And they had held up remarkably well. But without the J, the joy became, well, oi. Somehow, of course, it seemed fitting for the pandemic time. But the truth is, there had been lots of times in the preceding decade that felt a lot more oyful than joyful. I wondered if I shouldn't just let the J stay fallen behind the mantle pictures. Shouldn't I just keep it real? Is joy just another muddled myth we keep alive to stay in denial? But as we look to wisdom traditions such as our own Judeo-Christian heritage, we remember and reflect upon the idea that ancient psalms like Psalm 98 that we just heard Dayon lift up so beautifully with your glorious voice, these were not texts that were created in gratitude for some utopian extant, but rather these psalms were cultivated in ultimate humility, as humble thank you, God, even though life on this earth has been pretty raucous and heartbreaking, full of sin and wrongdoing. Thank you for the redemption of Israel. Indeed, this psalm of celebration had a backdrop of misery, darkness, and desperation. Make a joyful noise. Oi. Oi. So as we reconcile with the myth of Thanksgiving, we are asked to practice a gratitude juxtaposed with the raw, truthful story of our settler culture. This feels pretty loaded. Gratitude in this context is fairly risky. And on the heels of this day of complex gratitude comes the late fall and trying to keep the light within by opening to joy. In this age of truth revelation, of reconciliation with what really happened and is still happening now and will continue to happen in the bathrooms at Pierce Middle School, in our own community, until we get to the root cause analysis and actions, opening to joy is risky indeed. Can we feel worthy of joy when so much that supposedly brings us joy is steeped in privilege and oppressive striving and ambition? When there is so much inequity? When even access to the natural world is limited to those with means? Our first principle of Unitarian Universalism tells us we are worthy of dignity, the inherent worth and dignity of being human. But are we worthy of joy? I know this rose will open. The modern prophet and sage, Brené Brown, reminds us that joy comes in the small, ordinary moments. We've heard this before, for sure. But truly remembering this and practicing this invites a sense of redemption. For when I remember and commit and practice this wisdom, commit to and practice this wisdom, I open to a joy that is not sourced in supremacy culture and toxic capitalism. Buying and acquiring and saving and keeping and winning is not part of that feeling. I know that. Indigenous scholar Robin Kimmerer says this about joy. Even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift. Like its cousin, manufactured joy, and even its twin, oi, real joy doesn't last. Like those flowers that I talked about before. Just because it is genuine, even, doesn't mean it's going to last. Doesn't mean it's permanent. Perhaps that's the scariest thing of all. What makes us feel so vulnerable when opening to joy? We yearn for stability and certainty. We yearn to know that a good thing will last, because the fear of loss undermines our very sense of what is real and meaningful and worthy. Oi. In Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, she reminds us that joy is more like twinkling lights rather than a floodlight, which could be unbearable, of course, in its excess. And still, twinkling lights can make us nervous. Will the light return? Will it be strong enough? Why can't the lights just stay on all the time? As Orpheus is leading Eurydice back from the dark underworld in the ancient myth, he can see the light. And we could all see him in the audience, seeing the light. He wants to know Eurydice is with him and that he hasn't lost her. He doesn't want to be alone in the joy. And so he turns back. He is almost there, but he loses courage. He loses faith. Ironically, being open to joy makes us vulnerable to being lonely because it requires leadership away from the underworld, with climate justice, away from unsustainable industrial growth, with whatever kind of justice work you're doing. You're leading away from the darkness. But it's ancient darkness. Sometimes people will join us, and sometimes they will not, they cannot. And this too will change over time, who shows up. But what can stay the same as a practice is openness. We can be leaders and change makers simply by opening our hearts and staying open to joy amidst the sorrow and despair and vulnerability, amidst the oi.
Make a joyful noise today, all ye people. Break forth and sing for joy and sing praises. Sing praises today with the harp and the sound of melody, with the trumpets and the sound of the horn. Let the sea and all that fills it, let the earth and all who dwell in it, let the rivers clap their hands. Let the hills sing together for joy, and let all the earth join in shouting, singing, and dancing together with joy.
Enter, rejoice, and come into this life in all its fullness and its wholeness. Let the rose petals bravely unfold. When it falls down, sing the sad songs that need to be sung, and put the J back up on the wall. When we risk joy, whether we are feeling it genuinely or not, whether it meets our grand expectations, we are fully alive in an embrace of the sacred.
Sing hallelujah. We'll sing with joy now and always and evermore.
Now I ask you to sing with me hymn number, I believe, 396. I will, in my song leading fashion, rise as you are willing and able, and I will first just start us off. This has 4 phrases, 2 of which are the same, the first and last. We've heard it a couple of times now, so I'm inviting you to open to the spirit of the song, open your hearts. When we're looking down at our music, a lot of times just that physicality can kind of close off, right? So I will say a phrase and invite you to say it back. I know this rose will open.
I know this rose will open.
I know my fear will burn away.
I know my fear will burn away.
I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. Part of opening to joy is getting the words wrong, so please forgive me if I have a few words. I'm going to sing a phrase and invite you to sing it back. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. So now let's try that. We're going to sing that all the way through together 2 times, and then I'll tell you what's next. I know this rose will open. I know my fear. I know my soul. I know this rose will open. One more time. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. Now we're going to sing it all the way through together one more time, and then this part of the church is going to follow my little rose ensemble up here. Thank you, Amy, Sophie, and Claudia. And you're going to start, and we're going to come in, and we'll sing it 2 more times. So for anyone who is adding, 3 times total, right? 3 more times. All right, you're going to be singing this song to yourself for the rest of the week. That's my hope. Okay. One more time, our pitch. Here we go. I know this rose will open. Everyone. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. Sorry. Oh, I didn't come in on time. Fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. 2 more times. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. So as it would so happen this week, in our community, we had an event of joy that is like no other in our life journey, and that is a joy of birth. Deb and Richard Venable welcomed their grandchild, Mendel Venable Horowitz, this week to the world, and Richard reports that he is undeniably a genius and is just really thrilling everyone with all of his functioning. So yay! And it's a wonderful way in to a few moments of prayer and reflection on these miracles of life. So thank you for sharing that. These moments of wonder, ordinary wonders, the small moments that Brene Brown talked about. Birth, not so small for those going through it, certainly, but ordinary in the sense that this is a regular part of life, but still so extraordinary. So I invite you now into a few moments. In the beginning of our service, I gave you some moments to reflect on fear. And now that we've heard about some light and some darkness and some choosing joy, opening to joy, just be with yourself in your space, feel your feet on the ground, close your eyes, notice your breath, and perhaps begin to open to the possibility of joy, risky joy. Amen. I now invite Carlene Desire, the Executive Director of AFAB, to share with us her faith reflection this morning. Thank you, Carlene.
Good morning. I want to start out by thanking all of you for inviting us to be with you today. And special thanks to Cynthia. We've been working together since after the January 12th, 2010 earthquake in Haiti. A few words about AFAB and our work. The Association of Haitian Women, AFAB, is a social justice organization. And we started out back in 1988 as a study group. Soon afterwards, we found out that some of our members were victims of domestic violence, victims of sexual assault. So we decided to take the learning, or put it into practice. We started working with women in the community, not only in terms of providing support via telephone, we also provided ESL classes. 10 years later, we will put more structure into our domestic violence program and other programming such as we do continue with adult education, youth development, and community outreach and organizing particularly around domestic violence issues, immigration issues, and some education issues as well. So the cornerstone of our work is the domestic violence piece. We affirm the rights for women to be safe, for them to prosecute their perpetrators, provide the support necessary, not only in terms of getting them to safe shelters. We also provide support groups, and especially last year we had a huge increase of domestic violence during the pandemic by over 176%. So we had, I think, close to 12 support groups for that year. Now, we do the intervention, we also do the prevention. We run a Haitian Roundtable Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. It's a monthly meeting where we work with different partners, the community-based organizations, their churches, members of churches, clergy people. There are also folks from the police department, particularly Boston Police Department, but also Brockton. We work with people from DTA, people from the shelters come to the meeting as well, Rosie's Place, and sometimes DSS, now DCF. Now, all of this work is done not only on behalf of Haitian women, the Haitian community, but it's the greater Boston community at large, because it's a massive problem in our society. So the Roundtable does two major events, which is a clergy breakfast, which is mostly work around domestic violence, and we do an annual domestic violence forum in October for the community. In for adult education, we continue with the ESL. We do literacy primarily in Haitian Creole. We also do financial literacy, and this has become a huge deal for us. We've been doing it for a while, but especially after the lockdown, the pandemic. So we say, yeah, we've been working on the social aspect so much, but we also have to enhance the economic aspect. So it's been really a mission the past few months to see how we can help people with the financial economic skills necessary. In terms of organizing, I shared a little bit of what we do here, but we also do organizing work having to do with Haiti. Last August, we saw the president was assassinated. Soon afterwards, we had the earthquake, another earthquake, primarily in the south. So aside from the murder of the president, we have so many challenges in the country. So we felt the need to rally people to come together so we could fundraise. We did raise some funds. We decided to give the most remote organizations in the south area that was mostly affected by the earthquake. We gave $1,000 to grassroots organization, and it was very intense process where we had subcommittees on communication allocations and a lot of paperwork in terms of accepting the applications, and also people deciding whether the group deserved the $1,000. So we are still working on finalizing this. We will do one round of funding, and this time it's for the schools. And I will admit, with me from the get-go, I thought it was important to bring some stuff in terms of sending container. We did send a container, but we thought automatically, how do we get the schools back in a situation where the kids can eventually go back to school? So yes, That's going to be the last part. We plan to help rebuild some of the schools, and the last round of funding will be primarily that, but we are working with another organization that's called GRAN in French. It's an acronym, GRAN, and GRAN focuses on development. They're all over, mostly in Canada, United States, the membership, and they will help with the structure. And of course, it's not a lot of money we'll be able to give them, but it's really building differently because you know the tectonic plates are right below Haiti. So how do we stop from building the same way? We need to build smarter, better, so the houses can stay still. In terms of the project, December will be the end of December, the last round of funding, but this time specifically to rebuild schools in the South. We want to thank you so much for your contribution over the years. It has been extremely helpful, whether it be the diapers, the toiletries, and the funds you have sent over the years through Cynthia. We thank you so much, and I will share that what brings me joy, it's been about joy, all of the sermon here. And people say, why do you keep on doing this so long? And I said, well, you know what? When I find women and children going through so many hardships and find the support necessary to regain their lives, that brings me joy. So thank you so much, and I wish you joy.
Thank you so much, Carlene. Today's offering will be gifted to the Association of Haitian Women in Boston. And to reiterate, AFAB and CAFAM's mission is to empower Haitian women by helping them develop their individual and collective capacity to improve social, economic, and political status, and thus be able to effect positive changes in their life and their families' lives. How to give? We've been doing it for a long time. Simply text 617-539-7576 with the amount you'd like to give. Do not add words, simply put the amount. If you prefer to give via cash or check, there's a collection plate as you leave the building.
During the offering this morning, I will be singing Now Let Us Sing, just the intro. I invite you to listen. We will sing this again as our final hymn, but I'm just going to sing one part of it. It's a two-part hymn, and it's definitely a joyful noise kind of hymn. I'm only going to sing one verse, and you'll catch on to what that is. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Where are my singers? Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy. One more time. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Carlene, I should invite you up here and you could beat the drum. That one first. Thank you.
May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need. And may we be transformed by generosity.
Now please stay standing as you are willing and able and join in singing our final hymn. Now let us sing. We'll sing it through 3 more times, okay? Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Apologies. I'm finding our beautiful benediction. New for this month. Joy is within us. When our spirits sag from the weight of the world, may the power of our connections lighten the way. Amen.